The quantum arrays at SETI's lunar base hummed with unprecedented activity. Dr. James Rodriguez stood transfixed before the holographic display, his coffee growing cold in his trembling hands. The signal was unlike anything humanity had ever encountered. Structured, complex, and unmistakably artificial. Cross-reference complete, announced the AI assistant. Signal origin. NGC 3201 cluster, approximately 16,000 light-years from Earth. James activated the facility's emergency protocol, his voice steady despite the gravity of the moment. "Get me the Secretary General. Now." Within hours, the United Earth Council convened in their underground chamber beneath Geneva. The signal's message was clear. Earth had been noticed by the Concordiate, a coalition of advanced species that claimed dominion over this sector of the galaxy. Their terms were simple: submission or extinction. Secretary General Maya Patel stood before the assembled leaders, her dark eyes reflecting the determination that had made her the youngest person to hold the position. "They expect us to bow down, to accept their rule without question. They believe we are primitive, weak." A hint of a smile played across her lips. "They don't know humanity very well, do they?" In the depths of Jupiter's atmosphere, beneath layers of swirling storms, humanity's greatest secret stirred to life. The HSS Prometheus, Earth's first supercarrier, represented 20 years of reverse-engineered alien technology and human innovation. Its quantum core pulsed with energy as final systems checks commenced. Admiral David Chen watched from the observation deck as maintenance drones swarmed around the massive vessel. The Prometheus wasn't just a warship. It was humanity's declaration of independence to the stars. Its adaptive hull could reconfigure in real time, transforming from a carrier laden with fighters to a heavily armed battleship within minutes. Shields based on quantum entanglement theory could adapt to any weapon signature after initial exposure. "Status report," Chen demanded, his weathered face illuminated by the holographic displays. Lieutenant Commander Aisha Khan's fingers danced across the control interface. "All systems nominal. Admiral, the neural network is learning at expected rates, and the nanofabrication plants are operating at 98% efficiency." Chen nodded, remembering the decades of sacrifice that had led to this moment. After the discovery of a crashed alien scout ship in the Atacama Desert in 2157, Earth's nations had secretly united under Project Prometheus. While maintaining a facade of primitive space technology, humanity had quietly prepared for this inevitable confrontation. A priority alert flashed across the screens. Long-range sensors had detected multiple fold space ruptures at the edge of the solar system. The Concordia wasn't waiting for Earth's response. "They're earlier than we expected," Chen muttered. "How many ships?" "Initial count shows 300 vessels, sir. Their energy signatures match our theoretical models of Concordia technology." Chen straightened his uniform, years of preparation crystallizing into this moment. "Send the signal to all hidden facilities. Initiative Thunderbolt is now active." Across the solar system, concealed shipyards emerged from gas giant atmospheres, asteroid cores, and orbital shadows. Humanity's real fleet was awakening. The Prometheus's engines ignited, pushing against Jupiter's crushing gravity. As it rose through the layers of turbulent atmosphere, its true scale became apparent. Nearly 4 kilometers of adaptive armor and advanced technology, crude by the finest minds Earth had to offer. In the ship's tactical center, weapons officers ran combat simulations based on the limited data they had on Concordiate capabilities. The alien coalition had conquered dozens of species through superior technology and overwhelming force, but they had never encountered humanity's unique approach to warfare. Adaptability, unconventional thinking, and the iron will to survive. Admiral Chen opened a channel to all Earth Defense Forces. "Men and women of Earth, the moment we've prepared for has arrived. The Concordiate believes they face a primitive species ready for harvest. Instead, they'll find humanity standing united, armed with our greatest weapons, innovation, courage, and the unshakable determination to remain free. All ships, battle stations, show them what humanity can do. As the Prometheus led Earth's hidden fleet out of Jupiter's shadow, sensors detected the first wave of Concordia ships entering the inner solar system. The greatest test of human ingenuity and spirit was about to begin, and failure meant extinction. But humanity had survived ice ages, plagues, and its own destructive tendencies. Now it would survive among the stars. Captain Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of that HSS Prometheus, her reflection ghosting across the panoramic quantum glass. At 35, she was younger than most carrier commanders, but her tactical brilliance during the Mars defense simulations had made her the clear choice for humanity's most advanced warship. "Multiple contacts," announced Lieutenant Marcus Rivera from the sensor station. "Concordia scout ships entering the asteroid belt. They're scanning everything." Sarah watched the tactical display as red dots materialized against the backdrop of tumbling space rocks. The enemy was methodical, thorough, exactly as their intelligence suggested. "Status of our stealth systems. Quantum camouflage holding steady," responded Commander Yuki Tanaka. Her XO. "As far as they can tell, we're just another nickel-iron rock floating in the void." The bridge crew worked with practiced efficiency, their movements precise and controlled despite the tension. They had trained for this moment in countless simulations, but reality carried a weight that no simulation could match. Earth's fate rested on their shoulders. Deep within the Prometheus, the ship's adaptive systems hummed with potential energy. The vessel's revolutionary design allowed it to transform its configuration in real time, shifting armor plates and weapon systems to meet any tactical situation. It was humanity's answer to the Concordia's technological superiority, not trying to match them system for system, but creating something entirely new. "Captain," called out Dr. Emily Santos from the science station, "I'm detecting unusual energy signatures from the scout ships. They're using some form of quantum entanglement scanning we haven't seen before." Sarah's mind raced through the tactical implications. Could they detect us through the camouflage? Not yet, but given enough time. Then we don't give them time. Sarah straightened, her decision made. Battle stations. Initiate attack pattern Theta 3. Target the nearest scout ship first. We need to capture their sensor data before they can transmit back to their fleet. Klaxons blared throughout the massive vessel as crew members rushed to their combat positions. The Prometheus's hull began to shift, plates of adaptive armor flowing like liquid metal as the ship reconfigured from its stealth configuration into an attack posture. "Weapons hot," reported Lieutenant Commander Hassan Abdul, his fingers dancing across the tactical interface. "Quantum torpedoes armed. Point defense grid online." Sarah took a deep breath, knowing this would be humanity's first true combat engagement with the Concordia. "Launch fighters. Target their communication arrays first. We can't let them mourn the main fleet." The Prometheus's launch bays erupted with activity as squadrons of SF-220 Raptor fighters streamed into space. Unlike traditional fighters, these craft were piloted through neural interfaces, allowing human reflexes to be augmented by artificial intelligence without sacrificing human intuition and creativity. The nearest Concordia scout ship never saw the attack coming. One moment it was methodically scanning asteroids, the next it was surrounded by fighters executing maneuvers that seemed to defy physics. The Prometheus emerged from its camouflage like a predator from the depths, its adaptive armor absorbing the scouts' desperate energy weapon fire. "Their shields are based on a predictable quantum frequency," Dr. Santos called out. "Our adaptive systems are already synthesizing a counter-resonance." Sarah allowed herself a small smile. This was why humanity had chosen to develop adaptive technology, rather than trying to match the Concordia's raw power. "Fire quantum torpedoes, full spread. Let's see how their shields handle weapons that can alter their quantum state mid-flight." The battle was brief but decisive. Within minutes, 3 Concordia scout ships had been disabled, their crews captured and their databases being downloaded by Earth's cyber warfare teams. 2 more scouts managed to jump to fold space, but not before the Prometheus's sensors had gathered valuable data on their propulsion technology. As damage control teams secured the captured vessels, Sarah received a priority communication from Admiral Chen. "Excellent work, Captain. But our long-range sensors show the main Concordiate fleet accelerating their approach. They'll reach Mars orbit in less than 72 hours. "Understood, Admiral. What about the rest of our fleet? The other carriers are emerging from their hiding places now. Rendezvous at the designated coordinates. This was just the beginning, Captain. The real test is still to come." Sarah turned to her crew, seeing the mixture of pride and apprehension on their faces. They had won their first skirmish, proving that humanity could stand against Concordiate technology. But the enemy would adapt, would bring overwhelming force to bear against them. "Send the combat data to all Earth forces," she ordered. "Every engagement teaches us more about their capabilities, and prepare for immediate departure to the rendezvous point." She paused, looking at each bridge crew member in turn. "What we did here today proves what humanity is capable of. We're not just fighting for survival, we're fighting to show the galaxy that humanity deserves its place among the stars." As the Prometheus disappeared into fold space, its adaptive hull already reconfiguring for the next battle, the captured Concordiate crew members watched in stunned silence. They had expected to find a primitive species ready for conquest. Instead, they had encountered something their vast coalition had never faced before. A young species that had turned its greatest weakness, its technological inferiority, into its greatest strength through innovation and adaptability. The Kuiper Belt stretched before them, an endless sea of ice and rock at the edge of human space. Captain Sarah Chen watched as the tactical display updated, showing the positions of Earth's gathered fleet. 6 supercarriers, including the Prometheus, formed the backbone of humanity's defense. Around them, smaller vessels moved into predetermined positions, using the natural debris of the solar system's outer rim as cover. Concordiate fleet approaching fold space exit point, Lieutenant Rivera announced. Estimated 3 minutes until emergence. Admiral Chen's hologram flickered in the command center. "All carriers, battle formation Delta. Remember your training. We may not match their technology, but we have something they don't. The knowledge that we're fighting for our very existence." The space around them erupted with light as hundreds of Concordiate warships tore through the fabric of reality. Their vessels were works of art, crystalline structures that pulsed with energy, each one larger than anything humanity had built before the Supercarrier program. "Enemy fleet launching fighters," Commander Tanaka reported, "reading over 2,000 small craft. Energy signatures suggest weapons we haven't encountered before." Sarah's mind raced through the tactical possibilities. The Kuiper Belt's dense field of debris could be either an advantage or a death trap. "All hands, initiate Operation Thundercloud. Activate the quantum mines." Throughout the belt, thousands of seemingly innocent chunks of ice and rock came alive. Humanity had spent months seeding the region with quantum-enabled explosives, each one capable of creating a localized fold space disruption. The Concordiate fleet advanced in perfect formation, their confidence evident in every movement. A booming voice echoed across all frequencies. "Primitive species of soul, you have demonstrated unexpected capabilities. Submit now, and we will grant you vassal status rather than extinction." Sarah opened a channel. "This is Captain Chen of the Earth Defense Force. We reject your offer. Humanity bows to no one." The response came in the form of energy beams that lit up space like new suns, but the human fleet was already moving, executing maneuvers that looked like chaos, but were actually precisely choreographed. The Prometheus transformed mid-flight, its adaptive hull flowing into a configuration specifically designed to deflect energy weapons. "Quantum mines armed," Lieutenant Commander Abdul reported, waiting for optimal dispersal pattern. Sarah watched as the Concordiate fighters entered the debris field. "Now, the vacuum of space doesn't transmit sound. But if it did, the symphony of explosions would have been deafening. Hundreds of quantum mines detonated in sequence, creating a cascade of localized fold space disruptions. Concordiate fighters, dependent on quantum-based propulsion, suddenly found themselves powerless. "Launch our fighters," Sarah ordered. "Show them what human pilots can do." The battle devolved into dozens of smaller engagements as human forces executed their carefully planned strategy. Each carrier operated independently yet in concert with the others, using the Kuiper belt itself as both weapon and shield. Concordiate command ships are adapting to our quantum mine strategy, Dr. Santos warned. They're switching to conventional propulsion. Just as we expected, Sarah replied. Initiate Phase 2. Deploy the gravity nets. Hidden among the larger debris, automated stations activated, creating overlapping fields of artificial gravity. The Concordiate's massive ships, designed for the zero-G environment of space, suddenly found themselves pulled in multiple directions. The Prometheus dove through the chaos, its adaptive hull constantly shifting to present the smallest possible target while maximizing weapons coverage. Earth's other carriers executed similar maneuvers, each one operating according to its captain's interpretation of the battle plan. Enemy flagship detected, Rivera called out. They're launching some kind of new weapon. Energy signature off the charts. The space between the fleets warped as the Concordiate unleashed their superweapon, a beam of pure quantum energy that could tear apart matter at the subatomic level. But humanity had planned for this too. All ships, execute Protocol Omega, Admiral Chen commanded. Captain Chen, the Prometheus is our key. Show them what we can do. Sarah nodded grimly. Activate the quantum mirror array. Redirect all power to adaptive systems. The Prometheus's hull transformed one final time, turning the massive ship into something that defied conventional physics. As the Concordiate's weapon struck, the carrier's adaptive surface caught the energy, channeled it through its quantum systems, and reflected it back at the enemy fleet. The result was catastrophic for the Concordiate. Their own weapon, amplified and redirected by human ingenuity, tore through their formations. Ships that had conquered a dozen star systems fell before the combined might of their own technology and humanity's adaptability. Enemy fleet is in disarray, Tanaka reported, unable to keep the excitement from her voice. They're falling back to regroup. But Sarah knew this wasn't over. The Concordiate still had numerical superiority, and they would adapt to humanity's tactics. The real question was, could they adapt faster than humanity could innovate? All ships maintain battle formations, she ordered. They'll be back, and next time they'll be ready for our current strategies. But that's the difference between us and them. They adapt to what they know, while we create what they can't imagine. As the first phase of the battle ended, the human fleet regrouped among the debris of the Kuiper belt. They had bloodied the Concordiate's nose, showing them that humanity was far from primitive. But the war was far from over, and Earth's greatest test was still to come. Dr. Emily Santos stared at her data screens aboard the Prometheus, her eyes widening as patterns emerged from the chaos. The battle in the Kuiper belt had provided unprecedented amounts of data on Concordiate technology, and what she was seeing changed everything. Captain Chen, she called out, her voice trembling with excitement. I need you to see this immediately. Sarah Chen arrived at the science station within minutes, her uniform showing signs of the lengthy battle they'd just survived. What have you found? Their entire technological base, Emily explained, pulling up complex quantum equations. It's built on a fundamental assumption about how reality works. They've mastered quantum manipulation, yes, but they've done it in the most straightforward way possible. They never considered there might be alternatives. Commander Tanaka joined them, her tactical mind already seeing the implications. They're too advanced for their own good. They stopped innovating because they thought they'd found the perfect solution. Sarah nodded slowly. And we, being primitive, had to find workarounds. We had to innovate because we couldn't match their tech directly. She turned to Emily. Can we exploit this? Better than that. Emily replied, bringing up new schematics. We can use their own quantum network against them. Every Concordiate ship is connected through quantum entanglement. It's how they coordinate their fleet so perfectly. But that connection goes both ways. The revelation spread through the Earth fleet like wildfire. While the Concordiate regrouped for another assault, humanity's best minds worked feverishly to implement Dr. Santo's discovery. The Supercarrier's adaptive systems were reconfigured to exploit this newfound weakness. But the breakthrough came with a surprise. During the analysis of captured Concordiate databases, they discovered encrypted communications from within the alien fleet itself. Not all species within the Concordiate were willing servants. "Captain," Lieutenant Rivera called out, "we're receiving a transmission. It's using our own encryption protocols, but it's coming from a Concordiate vessel." The holographic display flickered to life, revealing a being that looked nothing like the crystalline Concordiate leadership. This creature was more organic, with flowing tentacles and bioluminescent patches that pulsed with emotion. "I am Speaker Zinra of the Meridian Collective," the being announced. "We have watched your battle against the Concordiate with great interest. You are not the first species to resist them, but you are the first to do so successfully." Sarah straightened, recognizing the gravity of this moment. "You're saying there are others within the Concordiate who want freedom?" "Many others. The Concordiate presents itself as a coalition of equals, but the truth is far darker. Most member species were given the same choice you were: submit or face extinction. We have waited generations for a chance to break free." Admiral Chen's hologram appeared, his expression cautious but intrigued. "And what exactly are you proposing?" "An alliance," Zinra replied. "Your adaptive technology, combined with our knowledge of Concordiate systems and the support of other subjugated species, could turn this war in our favor. We can provide you with critical intelligence about their next attack." The human leadership convened quickly. The risk was enormous. This could be a trap. But humanity had always thrived by taking calculated risks, by seeing opportunities where others saw only danger. Sarah found herself in a private conference with Admiral Chen. "Sir, if they're telling the truth, this changes everything. If they're lying, then we'll adapt, as we always have," Chen finished. "The Concordiate doesn't understand humanity, Captain. They see our willingness to ally with others as weakness, our diversity as a flaw. They don't realize that these are our greatest strengths." The decision was made. Humanity would take the risk, but not blindly. The Prometheus's adaptive systems were modified to create a secure quantum link with Zinra's vessel, separate from the Concordiate's network. Through this connection, they began receiving detailed intelligence about Concordiate fleet movements, weapons capabilities, and most importantly, the location of their command and control nodes. As the Earth fleet prepared for the next phase of the war, Sarah walked through the Prometheus's corridors, observing her crew working alongside their new Meridian allies. Human engineers collaborated with tentacled technicians, each bringing their own perspective to the challenges ahead. "It's remarkable," Commander Tanaka commented, watching a human physicist and a Meridian scientist work through complex quantum calculations. "They've been looking for ways to break free from the Concordia for centuries, but they needed someone to show them it was possible." Sarah smiled. "That's the real reason the Concordia fears us. Not just because we resist, but because we inspire others to resist. We show them that there's always another way, always a chance to fight back." As the combined fleet prepared for what would become the decisive battle of the war, Sarah reflected on humanity's journey. They had entered this conflict as a single species fighting for survival. They would end it as part of something larger, a coalition of truly free peoples, united not by force or fear, but by choice and shared purpose. The final battle was approaching, and this time, humanity wouldn't fight alone. The solar system's edge blazed with the light of 1,000 suns as the combined fleet of humanity and their Meridian allies faced the full might of the Concordiate. The HSS Prometheus led the formation, its adaptive hull gleaming with possibilities, while freed Meridian ships slipped through the void alongside Earth's supercarriers. Concordiate command ship detected, Lieutenant Rivera announced. They've brought their entire governing council. They're not here just to win. They're here to make an example of us. Captain Sarah Chen stood at the center of the Prometheus's bridge, her expression resolute. The intelligence provided by Speaker Zinra had proven invaluable, revealing not just the Concordiate's battle plans, but the location of their quantum network's central node, their greatest strength, and potentially their fatal weakness. All ships, battle formations, she commanded. Commence Operation Avalanche. The human fleet split into 3 groups, a maneuver that would have seemed suicidal against the Concordiate's superior numbers, if not for what they had planned. The Prometheus led the central force, while the other carriers took up flanking positions. Enemy fleet launching their primary attack, Commander Tanaka reported. Multiple quantum beam weapons charging. Let them come, Sarah replied. Execute quantum mirroring protocols. Dr. Santos, status of the override program. Emily's fingers flew across her console, ready for upload. The moment they establish quantum lock with our systems, we can begin the cascade. The space between the fleets erupted with energy as the Concordiate unleashed their full arsenal. But humanity had learned from every previous engagement. The supercarrier's adaptive hulls shifted and flowed, not just deflecting the attacks but capturing and redirecting them through carefully calculated quantum paths. Now, Sarah ordered as the enemy fleet committed to their attack pattern. Upload the program. Through the quantum connections the Concordiate themselves had established, Emily's program began its work. Based on the fundamental flaw in their quantum network discovered earlier, it spread through their ships like a digital wildfire. One by one, their perfect formation began to break down as their quantum systems crashed against an approach they had never conceived possible. Multiple Concordiate vessels losing power, Rivera reported, excitement creeping into his voice. Their quantum network is collapsing. But the Concordiate leadership wasn't finished. Their massive command ship pushed forward, its crystalline structure glowing with gathered energy. You dare to corrupt our perfect system. Their leader's voice boomed across all frequencies. We will reduce your world to atoms. All ships, execute final phase. Admiral Chen commanded. Captain Chen, the Prometheus is the key. Show them what humanity truly means. Sarah nodded. Activate the quantum consciousness interface. Full integration. The Prometheus shuddered as its adaptive systems reached their ultimate configuration. Through neural links, the entire crew's consciousness merged partially with the ship's quantum systems. It was the final evolution of human adaptive technology, not just a vessel that could change its form, but one that could channel the collective will and creativity of its crew. Impossible, the Concordiate leader exclaimed as the Prometheus began to move in ways that defied their understanding of physics. No single ship can achieve such integration. That's your fundamental mistake, Sarah replied, her voice resonating with the combined strength of her crew. You see technology as a means to impose order. We see it as a tool to express our infinite potential. The Prometheus danced through the chaos of battle, its movements guided by hundreds of linked human minds working in perfect concert. Every crew member's insight, every flash of intuition, translated instantly into action. Behind it, the other carriers engaged in their own beautiful deadly dance, while Meridian ships struck at targets their former masters never thought to defend. The Concordiate command ship launched its final weapon, a beam of pure quantum energy that could tear apart reality itself. But the Prometheus was ready. Its adaptive hull, guided by the combined creativity of its crew, didn't just reflect the attack. It reshaped it, transformed it, and turned it into something new. The resulting cascade of energy rippled through space, following the quantum pathways of the Concordiate's own network. Ships that had relied on rigid, perfect systems found themselves overwhelmed by chaos they couldn't comprehend. The mighty Concordiate fleet began to break apart, not through destructive force, but through the failure of their own inflexible approach to reality. Enemy fleet is in full retreat, Tanaka announced. Concordiate command ship is surrendering. A hush fell over the bridge as the implication sank in. Humanity had not just survived, they had shattered the foundations of an interstellar empire that had stood for millennia. But more importantly, they had done it not through superior firepower, but through innovation, adaptability, and the willingness to embrace new allies and ideas. In the days that followed, representatives from dozens of formerly subjugated species arrived in the solar system. Earth became a symbol not of resistance alone, but of transformation, proof that a younger race could show the galaxy a different path. Sarah stood with Speaker Zinra on the Prometheus's observation deck, watching ships from 100 worlds move freely through space. "What happens now?" she asked. The Meridian's bioluminescence pulsed thoughtfully. "Now we build something new. Not an empire built on force and fear, but an alliance founded on innovation and mutual respect. The galaxy needs humanity's gift for seeing new possibilities." Sarah smiled, remembering how far they had come from that first alien signal. Humanity had faced extinction and emerged not just victorious, but transformed. They had proven themselves not by dominating others, but by showing the galaxy that adaptation, innovation, and cooperation were greater powers than any weapon. The HFY Prometheus would remain a symbol of that truth, not just a supercarrier, but a testament to humanity's greatest strength, the ability to imagine a better way forward and the determination to make it reality. As new ships arrived, alien plans for a true galactic alliance took shape. Sarah knew that humanity's greatest adventures were just beginning. They had earned their place among the stars not through conquest, but by demonstrating that true power lies not in enforcing order, but in embracing the endless possibilities of change.